bodies, and they've soul scalped people that we know, major news anchors and stuff. They've soul scalped them, have taken over their bodies, and so that's what we're really getting is a bunch of aliens. So anyway, that's just my thoughts. Just might want to prepare for martial law before we hit Iran. You keep your, I don't know how many times I've heard, we've got carriers over going towards Iran and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That's just distraction stuff to me anymore. Every time I hear it, it's like, what happened 6 months ago when our entire fleet was over there, and you heard all this hype, our entire fleet's over there, and you didn't hear about any of them coming home. And then 6 months later, we're sending another carrier over there, and weren't they all just over there? But I didn't know they came home. It's all just a bunch of distraction hype. When everybody watching everything else from what's really going on, and so that's why I don't fall for that game. I don't fall for that. Everybody else is watching a war with Iran coming, and I'm seeing UFO ships and aliens coming. Don't go to sleep on any real area, folks. Keep up on all the different routes that can happen. And if you haven't read my article, The Coming Alien Invasion, the 200 Million Resurrection of Satan's Dead, I have that on my website at SherryTalkRadio.com and TheWatcherFiles.com. I encourage you to read that because it talks about Joel chapter 2 and Revelation chapter 9. So I encourage you to read that. We'll start getting to some questions now from listeners. If you have a question for the show, you can send it to SherryTalkRadio@yahoo.com. Just send an email, a quick question for the show in the subject line. I also have a link at SherryTalkRadio.com to send an email in. So I'll get to this one. Hello, Sherry. Don't you think the evil ones, Satan included, would simply change all their plans to contradict what God and Jesus have told us about the end times? I mean, they have to know what we all have known throughout the ages about God's plan. I think that they're the ones bringing them about and fulfilling them. Of course they know all the plans. God knows what's going to happen in the end. That's why He gave us prophecy. I mean, they could try to change them all they want to, but I don't really understand this question. I mean, they got the church into believing into a false rapture so that when Satan pulls off his rapture, everybody thinks it's a religious rapture. I mean, they have their hand in being able to mimic and counterfeit every bit of this prophecy stuff. I only believe that there's a rapture of the 144,000, as mentioned in Revelation. I don't believe in this million people raptured that the churches preach. But I do know that the Satanists and the New Agers are preaching that there's going to be a liftoff of their followers. And I think Satan's going to pull off his own rapture and call it a Christian rapture. So he does mimic. And he is doing a lot of things. I mean, he's going to have the Antichrist, descending on Earth in a hail of alien beings that people are going to think are angelic beings, mimicking the second coming of Christ. And so, we have a lot of stuff coming up here, folks, on the Blue Beam Project, and I've talked about that before, about how they're going to bring the Antichrist to Earth, acting as he's God, the second return of Jesus Christ, Yahushua, and all this. So, I filmed the big star that I see in the sky since years in Miami, Costa Rica, and Ecuador. It's at YouTube. There's a link. What is your site? There's a lot of these big stars out now. There's not just one, so you can almost go out there and take your pick now. I don't have time to go to YouTube and look at it, but I'm sure it's the same one we're talking about because, like I said, these aren't just in my area. You can see these all over the Northern Hemisphere. Science, I've been reading the Journal of Marco Polo. Knowing you're interested in history, I found a passage that says a Muslim believes and the fair game law, which says they can basically do anything to their enemies, which is the same belief as that of Scientology. I don't know if that's the same religion as Scientology or not. I guess I don't know everything about Islam and everything about Scientology. But they're both Satan's religions, so that's about the only one thing in common that matters. You know, religion isn't of the Lord. The Lord doesn't have a religion. The Lord gave us a way of life, not a religion. That's what's wrong with churches today. Dear Miss Shrine, I've been reading several articles from your site, and some areas I believe you to be spot on. One others I think you missed the mark. I believe there is always the blessing of seeing fellow lovers of Yahweh Most High. This came as always. Turn this is just out to Friday, which we thought. This is too long, folks. If you're going to send me I'll read it later. If you got a quick question for the show, make it a quick question on the page. Hi, Sherry. What are you doing and why? Where are you? I missed your show. Where is your July 16th show? I didn't have a show July 16th. Last week I just took off. Just to take some time off. Away from the computer. I get busy running kids around in the summer, and it's about that time when it just gets hectic and you need to walk away from everything. Just take a break. What do you think is happening on Pluto that they would declassify it as a planet? Just seems like something they would do so the public might eventually forget about it. Probably because they're finding more planets coming in that are bigger than Pluto. I've always believed there are 12 planets. And so they have a problem with 9. They want to get rid of Pluto. For some reason they want to keep it at 9. I don't know. Maybe because it's Planet X, which is one of the planets that was originally part of the 12, is coming back. And I don't know. I don't know why they want to get rid of Pluto. I really don't know. It's not something I've even really cared about. I don't know. I've never given it much thought. Poor Pluto, all this fame and fortune for all these years, and now it's being taken away from him. Which is the most accurate English translation there is? I heard the American Standard Version of 1901. This is the most accurate English translation. What do you think? I don't know if any of them are even accurate, because any translation of a KJV where you have Paul's books included means it's been manipulated. And so the original Christian literature before the early persecutions they had renounced Paul. They had rejected Paul. Paul admits, everyone in Asia has rejected me. It's because he was an idiot. Not because they were being stubborn and hard-headed and not believing him. He was an idiot and they knew it. And the church had excommunicated him. James and Peter threw him out of the church. And so what they did was they killed all those early thousands of Christians that wouldn't accept Paul, killed them all off. It took them 100, 200 years. Grabbed all the scriptures that those early believers had, got rid of them, burned them all, and then created the KJV from the ground up of what they wanted in it, and they put their Paul in it. And that's exactly what happened. So any kind of translation version you have now, it doesn't really matter. Just don't read Paul. Just don't read any of his junk. I mean, he says a lot of good things, but that's that 10% rat poison of his that will damn your soul if you fall into that. Because he doesn't teach you to follow the Lord. He teaches you to follow Paul. Follow me as I follow the Lord. I bring to you a new gospel. I mean, how many red flags do you need from that guy? I am an Aquarius. Well, special stones that represent